Villages Vitality listeners, I've got some good news for you. If you're listening via our Buzzsprout feed, you should see a fan mail button. You can ask questions or leave me comments as a text, or in our new feature, you can send it as a voicemail. If you'd like a response, make sure you leave your name, email address, and cell phone number.
Welcome to Season 8 of Villages Vitality Life, Seniors Life Unscripted. In this new season, we talk to leaders of clubs and interesting folks who live in and around the villages. We also talk to people who have information vital to seniors. You will get perspectives of what is happening in and around the villages, Florida. In addition, in this new season, we will add more information for all seniors. We are a listener-supported podcast.
This is Mike Roth on Villages Vitality, Senior Life Unscripted. Today I have Dr. Hany Demian with me. Thanks for joining me, Dr. Demian.
Thanks for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure.
Let me tell our listeners a little bit about you. Dr. Demian brings a unique, grounded perspective to one of the most timely conversations in healthcare. That is, how artificial intelligence is reshaping longevity, predictive medicine, and human performance. With a background spanning surgery, emergency medicine, and chronic pain care, Dr. Demian approaches AI not as a technology trend, but as a clinical tool capable of transforming how we understand aging, disease risk, and biological decline. These things are very important to my listeners, so you're really talking to the right demographic here. His work focuses on using data-driven systems-based medicine to shift healthcare from reactive treatment. Oh yeah, that's 1.0. That's what Otta talks about all the time, to something he calls medicine 2.0. You're focused on using data-driven systems-based medicine to shift healthcare from reactive to predictive, personalized intervention. He is also the founder and CEO of Praesentia Healthcare LLC.
He is.
Concerned with how AI is changing longevity in medicine, and you're developing a wearable technology. Do you want to talk any about that wearable technology today?
I would love to. I appreciate the introduction. Like you mentioned, I did general surgery, did chronic pain management, did emergency medicine. All the problem was that we visited the patient for 5-10 minutes, half an hour, or during the procedure. I don't have a full picture of their life before and after. I don't have a picture of the patient or data of the patient 24/7.
Sleep temperature, EKG, all of these data are wasted.
People wear their wearables.
Whether it is
People I watch without actually knowing how powerful this data is.
I wear a Samsung watch, which tells me the daily number of steps that I've walked.
Yep.
And that's nice. But I have yet to, and I'm a computer guy, but I've yet to figure out what the average number of daily steps was over the last 30 days or the last 60 days. I mean, it vanishes.
Exactly.
It takes my pulse rate, and BMI, but the data vanishes.
Exactly. And you don't know what to do with it. And your sleep is the same. Your stress, is it actually above the limits, below the limits? How it affects your heart rate, your body temperature, mental health.
We take all this data, compare it to your biometrics and the tests that you've done, blood work,
AKG is the test
that we start with aging.
and we look at it and see how these habits, your daily activities, can affect you developing chronic condition, aging, a stroke, heart attack, blood pressure, or cholesterol level.
And then we take over AI. And AI will analyze this significantly with our system and will tell you, what, I think you need to sleep better,
You lower
your stress. And this is how we're going to lower your stress.
through supplements, some kind of food that you take.
We notice that this food increase your heart rate, increase your body temperature, increase your blood pressure. So why don't we lower this? Drink more water, drink less coffee, have a walk in the sun, go out for 30 minutes. You said you're walking a lot and it's measure your steps, but are those the healthy steps? Are you really exposed to the sun exposed to the air, exposed to having the vitamin D that you need, calcium and whatnot. I, in a personalized approach, will suggest tweaks in your habits, supplements that you need, and the way that your lifestyle should be. Reduce your stress, have more free days in your schedule. If you're doing podcasts in the morning, maybe you should do them midday.
It's an app that takes advantage of someone's iPhone or...
We start with tests, Mike. So we test your blood. We have 18 markers. We test your hormones. We test your supplements. We do an age test to see each organ in your body, how fast it's deteriorating or aging or not aging. And we look at all this, compare it. So we actually look at the source of where this data coming from.
So where is your practice located?
We have 7 practices in Florida.
Hopefully, we'll be in New York and Michigan by the end of the year.
Where is your closest location to the Villages?
I think Orlando will be the closest.
Yeah, okay, that's about 70 miles away.
Yeah, we get a lot of
Okay.
patients from the Villages, and we've done quite a bit of seminars through the company BioSpine Institute.
Okay, yeah, I've heard the ads for the BioSpine Institute. Were you one of the founders of that?
No, I'm not, but I'm the CEO owner.
Okay, well, they do some wonderful work, wonderful work.
Yes.
I think one of my friends was one of the patients. Okay, let me ask you this question. What is the biggest myth that people still believe about aging, and what does science actually say today?
Aging has been the secret for many years. Everybody's been looking for the fountain of youth, and I think we're almost found it, Mike. So one of the biggest myths for aging is just a phase. You have to go through it. You have to endure it. It's not like that anymore. Aging is not just a phase. You can stop it. You can reverse it. You can avoid it, right? Because aging now
You
has
can
got
reverse it?
hallmarks. You can reverse it. Yes.
How would one reverse aging?
Aging in a nutshell is energy, right? And I'm not talking energy to do the day-to-day activities that you want. It's energy on a cellular level. Our cells get to the point they don't have the energy in their mitochondria to restore the body function, to get you back into recovery, to get you back, your heart back into beating regularly, your brain thinking properly, your muscles acting properly. You don't recover. That's why when we get older, we cannot train like we were in our 20s. If we get this energy back, you will be able to train like you were in 20s. And there are protocols now that we can put the patient through or the client through it, and they will be able to train as much as they were in their 30s and 40s. So once you get to the mitochondrial cellular level, you see what the breakdown.
Are you talking about stem cells or regenerative medicine there?
I'm talking about regenerative medicine in general. Yeah.
Okay.
Exosomes and peptides, stem cells. Aging has 3 hallmarks. Number 1, our DNA breaks down. So we go back to stem cells and exosomes to do that. The mitochondria, it breaks down, doesn't have energy. We can add supplements like NAD, we can add exosomes and peptides to give back the energy. An accumulation of damaged cells that the body cannot get rid of it, right? We can do that through therapeutic plasma exchange, through intermittent fasting, eating certain kind of foods that clean those and cleanse the body from those dead cells. Once you get to that point, you'll get your energy back and the recovery will be much better.
Mm-hmm. How long would something like that take on the average 70-year-old person?
As a holistic approach, you cannot do one and leave the other. If somebody is really consistent with this, I think within 6 months you can see results. We've done it into circles, and we like our patients to commit to a year worth of treatment. You will get body composition, you'll get muscle mass, and you'll get your sleep back, and you get all those foundational important factors back. The rest is super easy. Once you get their sleep, which we know when we age, our sleep get disrupted. We don't get enough REM sleep. Our exercise, we're not able to exercise because of pains and aches and muscle loss. We lose quite a bit of muscle starting at age 35. We lose also almost 1% of our muscle mass every year. That number double by age 60 and triple by age of 70, right?
Yeah, here in the Villages.
Yeah, after we eat less protein. Most people don't want to go to the gym, and when they go to the gym, they don't they're not able to push hard due to aches and pains, and I understand that. And then our diet changes. We don't eat as much because appetite slows down. We don't want to be full because we know when we eat certain kind of food, it hurts, it doesn't digest, it keeps us up at night, so we eat less. So unfortunately, that increased the insulin resistance and increased the glucose sensitivity as well. So it becomes a problem there. Right?
So
Yeah, go ahead.
what are some of the things that people in their 60s and 70s who want to stay healthy and independent longer, what kind of things can they do that will make the most difference?
4 foundational factors, Mike. Sleep. You have to really dig deep into sleep. This is where the wearable come really handy when you look really at your sleep. Because at any age, you think that you slept properly, but when you look closely, you didn't. So be obsessed about the sleep. Be obsessed about your exercise. You have to go to the gym. There is no other way. Muscle power and muscle tone and muscle size is the only currency that will keep us mobile and independent. There's no other way around it. It's been tested a lot, and muscle is the only thing, the currency that will keep us independent. And diet and supplements, the right supplements that are designed for you, Mike. It's not the same like for me. It's not the same like for anybody else. It has to be done properly, depending on your activity. You are an intellectual guy, you're doing podcast, you need certain supplements for brain health, for heart health, right? Some others are like to be on the golf course all day or whatnot. They need other supplements. They are in the sun, they need to be protected, they need joint health, they need muscle health, they need back health. So each person, depending on their activity, we design a supplement. And this is where really comes the point that I always say it's not one size fits all. That's where individualized medicine becoming really popular.
And what you said kind of does mirror what Dr. Peter Attia has said about exercise. Generally, not all of us can exercise. Some of us have bad shoulders, bad knees, bad backs. And for other people, the gym is just not attractive.
Yes.
Sometimes I think the gym is a breeding ground for germs and disease and colds and whatever.
Yes.
So frankly, I try to stay out of the gym. I'd rather walk in the neighborhood for an hour than go to the gym for a half hour.
I would agree. And that's why we work with you, Mike, and design home exercises, right? There's nothing wrong with home exercises. Yeah. We learned during COVID that home exercises will be the same as gym exercises.
Yeah, it depends on the intensity. We hear a lot about new treatments. How does a senior get to know what is real and what is just too risky, untested, or proven wrong? You know, whether it's these plasma-rich injections. You know, frankly, I've dismissed that as pure hokum. You can't take stem cells from a 70-year-old person's fat and turn them into good stem cells to regenerate muscle. And there are people, I think, selling cells from goats. So what kind of new treatments and supplements do you believe in?
I believe in data-driven, evidence-based treatments. And the reason that most doctors now are coming on social media is influencers trying to be doctors, unfortunately, right? So doctors had to stand up and we had to put our word there. So like you said, a lot of those are not only not tested and not evidence-based. Even when it's evidence-based, Mike, it might not work for you, right? So patient selection is quite important.
Yeah. Anecdotal-based evidence of only 1 or 2 cases doesn't prove that a therapy works. Double-blind studies, something I happen to believe in, does prove it. But before we get more into that, let's take a short break and listen to Dr. Craig Curtis talk about Alzheimer's tip. Go ahead, Dr. Curtis.
When we talk about the causes of heart attacks and strokes and peripheral vascular disease, we all know about things such as diabetes, smoking, and poor diet choices. Those are all called modifiable risk factors. You can change those and you can lower your risk. And then if we talk about non-modifiable risk factors, things you cannot change, there's a cholesterol that has been labeled the ghost cholesterol.
I've heard of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Now I have to worry about a ghost cholesterol?
That's right. There's a cholesterol known as lipoprotein A. That cholesterol has been known about for a long time. However, scientists over the last decade have discovered that this is one of the major risk factors for heart disease, cardiovascular disease, cerebral vascular disease such as strokes, and peripheral vascular disease such as problems in the legs. And what they've discovered is that this is a genetically linked lipoprotein. What that means is it runs in families. And unfortunately, we've had no way to modify this.
To learn more, visit his website, craigcurtismd.com, or call 352-500-5252 to attend a free seminar.
Thank you, Dr. Curtis. I'm back with Dr. Hany Demian. Tell me, what are the most important biomarkers that people should be paying attention to as they age?
Not only when they age, Mike, I think from as early as their 20s and 30s, because if they look at those when they age, it might be too late. But I really believe that aging starts in our 20s through our habits, environment, choices. I'm obsessed with few of them. Testing for everybody that walks through our clinic. I like the ApoB for cardiovascular health. I like glucose control and glucose sensitivity and insulin resistance. Inflammation markers. I'm very big on inflammation and inflammatory and chronic inflammation in the body. Muscle mass, muscle strength, grip strength, very important. Kidney and liver is very important.
And we really have to look into kidney age. Otherwise, you aren't going to make it to old age.
VO2 max for cardiorespiratory health and body composition. Body is very important. I look at hormones at our bones, but hormones are really important as well, just to know where they are.
Right. Now, most people here in the villages are more than 50 years of age. But what is one thing that people are doing or not doing that they should be doing that's quietly accelerating their aging process or increasing their risk of physical decline?
I think number one is ignoring their sleep, and I've seen it a lot. I see it in my father. My father is in his 90s. He doesn't care to sleep much. He naps during the day. Sleep is very important, right, for recovery. Their diet. My father, every time I see him eating something with sugar or whatever, I tell him, I said, I'm 90, who cares, right? No, you should care, right? Because you need to live healthy for the grandkids and for your activity and to be as independent as possible. The thing that my father did, he was a walker all his life, right? He walks faster than me till today. Like if we're walking together, he will be like far along, right? And he walks. He didn't use his car. He walks. He used to walk me to school. He walked to the hospital. He was a doctor and walks winter, rain, sun, shine. He walks. And that's why I believe till now he's quite independent in his 90s. Right?
I think walking is a great exercise.
Very important.
I'm going to call it moderate paced walking is much more important than walking slowly. Some people describe me as a fast walker, but I only consider myself a moderate paced walker. I think walking really exercises a lot of muscles on one side, and then actually it gives you time to listen to podcasts in your earbuds as you're walking.
He's able till today in his 90s, go up the stairs, second floor, go to the basement, go out in the backyard, because the muscle, his lower body is quite strong from walking. He's a walker. He, like when I tell him, like, let's go to get something from the convenience store, we will walk together, go to the mall. I can't keep up with him till today because he is a moderate pace walker. I'm a slow walker. I can walk on a treadmill, but he is, once he's oriented to a target, he's walking. So walking, sleep, diet. If we ignore our protein in the diet, which a lot of us do, we will decline. The muscle will decline. And otherwise, just regular checkups with the doctor. Checkup is not once a year. I don't believe that once a year is good enough. I think every few months you need to do the checkup. You need to check your blood work, blood sugar. This is very important.
Right.
That's the wearable.
I agree with you. I see.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see my personal physician about every 6 to 8 weeks. You know, one of the things you said, which leads me to a question, is a lot of folks here in the villages, whether it's from playing pickleball or something else, wind up with bad knees, and they wind up needing to get a knee replacement. Is there anything people can do who are in their 60s to 80s to avoid knee replacement or hip replacement or shoulder replacement I've heard of? I mean, it seems like these kinds of things are extremely...
I would agree. The reason we grind our knees is we don't drink enough water. We don't eat enough food containing collagen. All our life, we abuse our knees. I've seen a lot of people that whether they're leading a sedentary life or they're really not using their knees and they decide at one point of their life, I'm trying to do pickleball. So warming up is very important. And the older we get, the more we need warming up, stretching, gentle physical exercises. So even if you're sitting at home, you know what I mean, moving your knees, moving the hips before you really get engaged in a pickleball match or whatnot is very important, right?
Let me back you up because you said warm-up exercises. I've never been a big believer in warm-up exercises. And there are some activities where I'm forced to do warm-up exercises, like improvisational theater. I've always thought of them as a waste of time because, I don't need to stretch my arms or walk around. Why is it so important?
It gives the receptors and the muscle the indication that you will start an activity, whether it's the shoulder, hip, or knee. It's not used to hard work unless you give it a little bit of warm-up because it moves the synovial, the fluid in the joint around, right? It makes sure that the muscles are not tense at one area because all our muscles, all our movement is flexion and extension. There is a muscle that does something and the other one does the opposite. So you're giving both the opportunity to start contracting. It's like a sports car, right? You cannot take the sports cars on the track without having few warming laps, right? I always tell my patient, I used to race cars. So you cannot just jump in. You need to get this oil in the engine, right? You need the engine to start warming up, the shifts and the gears to start working together and whatnot. You cannot take it from really cold to really pushing the car hard on the track. Joints are like that. Joints will give you more if you do a little bit. And we're not talking half an hour. I'm talking 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, right? I lived in Toronto, and before removing snow or shoveling snow, what should I do? Warm up. I stretch my back because I hurt my back years ago shoveling snow as well. Warm up the back, little stretches, go down, touch my toes, and extend all the way back, side to side, before I go do it. Because that really get the synovial fluid in the joint warm up. It actually spread it so the joint is not dry, right? And get the muscles working together.
Okay, now I understand that it makes more sense. The opposing muscles and getting the joint used to moving. But I did race cars on racetracks.
You can't take it cold, right? You need to warm it up.
You needed that warm-up lap, but it was only one warm-up lap.
That's it.
On the backside, that's where the problem was for me. They gave us one cool-down lap, but if you stopped your car at the end of the cool-down lap, you were about 50-50 on warping your rear rotors, front rotors, because wherever the pad touched the rotor, it was going to warp around that. And so every time I took a streetcar back, I would wound up buying a set of brakes and a set of rotors because it didn't have the cool down. In the working out of our own bodies, is it important to have a cool down as well as a warm up?
I don't believe in the cool down. I believe you push hard till the end, and then whenever you stop, you stop.
Okay. Couple of last questions. What is your opinion of stem cell therapy now?
I believe it's the future, but I don't believe that we're there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The science is good, but honestly, Mike, I haven't seen good quality yet.
Kind of agree with you. And you mentioned peptides and regenerative medicine. Tell us a little bit about the way you use it in your practice.
So peptides, I used it personally during COVID. Once I hit my mid-40s, my recovery slowed down. So I looked everywhere and I looked into the peptides, and I discovered that the only compound that we know or known to human that will be able to go inside the cell is a peptide, because it's amino acids, exactly like protein. I eat a lot of protein bars, protein drinks. So it's exactly like amino acids. It's naturally existing in our body, and it's connected by peptide bond, which is the easiest. So they go inside the cell and deliver the message that we need to deliver. Most medication that we take, and I'm not against Western medicine, it just Western medicine is like a hammer. The medicine will go in, cannot enter the cell, and force the cell to have that or to act the way that we want it to act. That's why we got side effects to every single medication. Peptides are not like that. They go inside the cell, they tell it what to do gently and fixes the mitochondria. We'll tell it, you know what? We need you to heal. We need you to push a little bit and get some more energy of it. Go into the Krebs cycle or where the power is generated and said, okay, we need to produce more power and we need you to heal. So it starts secreting healing factors, growth factors, and basically do what we needed to do, right? Gently. Haven't yet to see side effects, but I'm very cautious with using them. I'm not using them where following the hype. I'd like people to know that it's still a chemical. It still need to be used with the direction of a physician who knows what they're doing and design it exactly for you. I can advise somebody to use those kind of peptides, but it wouldn't work for somebody else.
So use it properly. Use pharmaceutical grade.
And use it under the supervision of a physician. They are magnificent for healing, recovery, pain specifically, cartilage, collagen, really, really revolutionized medicine in the last few years.
Okay. One of our listeners wants to get a hold of you and your practice. How do they do that?
You can reach me on my website, drdemian.com, Instagram, Hany Demian, LinkedIn, Hany Demian.
Good sense to me. If someone wants to call your office to set up a possible appointment in one of your practices, how do they do that?
On the website, drdemian.com, drdemian.com. Leave a message, and my team, myself, will reach out, and we start with virtual if they're not in the areas where our clinics are, and we send most of the tests to their house. So we send it to the house, we get the test, send it back, and we will have a virtual call, and we'll discuss the results, we'll discuss direction, supplements, and we'll advise them with the supplements they need to use with their program, and we will monitor their progress, whether through a wearable or whether virtual calls.
Very good. Is there anything that I failed to ask you that you wanted to mention today?
I'm writing a book. What if aging is optional? I truly believe that aging will be considered a condition in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't want the listeners to think that this is a phase. I have to go through it. I have to endure it because I'm old. No, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to struggle. Most of the symptoms could be stopped, could be reversed, and you could live a youthful, fruitful life forever till our time comes.
So how close are you to getting the book out so that we can buy it on Amazon?
I'm 6 months out. I met recently with an oncologist, a cancer doctor, and she's writing a chapter, How to Prevent Cancer. So I'm waiting for her.
That would be a very popular chapter.
Yeah.
Hany, thanks again for being on the show, and I hope some listeners contact you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Mike. Have a good day.
Remember, our next episode will be released next Friday at 9 a.m. Should you want to become a major supporter of the show or have questions, please contact us at mike@rothvoice.com. This is a shout-out for supporters Tweet Coleman, Ed Williams, Duane Romick, Paul Sorgan, and Dr. Craig Curtis at K2 in the Villages. We will be hearing more from Dr. Curtis with short Alzheimer's tips each week. If you know someone who should be on the show, contact us at mike@rothvoice.com. The way our show grows is with your help. Text your friends about this show if you enjoyed listening. Use the fan mail button on our homepage, villagesvitality.life, to leave comments. Be sure to include your name, email, and phone number. We thank everyone for listening. The content of the show is copyrighted by Roth Voice 2026, all rights reserved.